We've come to Gavin Turk's studio to speak to him about his facial hair and to film the exclusive culmination of his beard project for the Other Art Fair. How did your involvement with the Other Art Fair come about in the first place?
The Other Art Fair just got in contact with me, Ryan did, and asked me if I wanted to be on the panel of selectors for I think the way that it works is that contributors or people that want to show at the fair, they propose their exhibition or they propose their work, and then there's a panel of people that decide. And Ryan asked me if I wanted to be one of the judges, if you like.
So how did it then come about that you were also doing this special commission?
But Ryan was also aware, or the Other Art Fair was also aware, that one of the other hats that I wear is as a director and a trustee of a charity called the House of Fairy Tales, which my wife and I set up. And they wanted to offer a kind of a booth as a kind of as a possible way of getting some money for the charity. And so I ended up like also kind of offering the idea of getting my beard shaved off. It was kind of like a way of trying to think how could I kind of get involved making a product or making something that we might be able to use as a fundraising mechanism.
How long had you had your beard for?
I think it must have been about over a year and a half,
and
something like that.
Had you been planning on getting rid of it anyhow?
I kind of still hadn't quite been planning to actually have it in the first place. It was kind of just something, it was a kind of experiment. It was something that just sort of, it grew out of my face. And for a long time, people would say, "Oh, I see you're growing a beard." And I'd say, "I don't think I'm growing a beard, I think I'm just not shaving."
And so the idea was that you had it removed in stages, replicating different artists at each point.
Yeah, so actually what we did was we found pictures of well-known artists with beards, and we then kind of compiled them in a sort of length of beard, if you like, and tried to find photographs, portrait photographs of the artists which were somehow quite kind of classic or quite kind of, again, like had a kind of slightly known feel to them, and then we went through a series of cutting the beard and styling me to try and put me into those photographs. And it's, you know, it kind of teases an element of my work, where I've made various works where I've kind of portrayed myself as other artists, or I've made work which has very strong or very overt connections to other artists' work. So there's a kind of an element where the project or this series of beard portraits kind of teases something about my work, and I think it kind of also it's quite interesting to sort of I suppose to give a kind of context to the beard and art. We did the whole thing in a day. And it was more trying to kind of fit myself into the photograph rather than fit myself into the artist. And you have to kind of, or you find yourself thinking, oh, is this how the artist was sitting when they were having this photograph taken? I mean, most of the time I actually think they could never have been sitting like this because it's really uncomfortable, or they could never have been standing like this, or the light was certainly not like this. I think in a way, like, you experience something that really isn't like it, but again, I think the photographs that we've got, and we're still kind of working on them, but the photographs we've got are quite. I think some of them are pretty good.
Have you got a favourite?
I think my favourite one is Cézanne. I think that for some really strange reason, and it's probably to do with a kind of wig. And a certain kind of shaping of the beard, it suddenly looked like someone I knew, or it looked really kind of familiar somehow, but I couldn't quite figure out what it was.
So what's happening with these portraits now? Are they going to be compiled into one poster?
The plan is, what we want to do is to make a sort of unified image. So it'll be a poster and it'll be a picture of all the different beards. And then I wanted to do singular photographic portraits as well, so that the viewers or the audience or the collectors can choose which one they want, or they can buy all of them, or they get more flexibility.
And it'll be a limited edition for the other art fair?
Yeah, it'll be a limited edition, yeah.
And to raise money for House of Fairy Tales?
Sure.
And can you tell us a bit about what House of Fairy Tales is actually, what they work for?
So House of Fairy Tales is basically a children's arts education charity, and currently the project is more events based, but they've worked with lots of different organisations like the National Trust, the Royal Shakespeare Company, and then they work with galleries like the Whitechapel or the Tate. They recently did a project in Hauser and Wirth in Somerset, where they did a kind of Easter project. They created an extraterrestrial egg, and then a research laboratory where children found out about ways of testing or researching extraterrestrial activity. I think that it's important that the kids are given a kind of context where they can be creative, where they can keep their imagination going.
Final question, how long are you staying as Dalí for?
Oh no, I'm going to cut. I'm only half Dalí.
You're only half.
Because basically, what happened was the second to last photograph was a photograph of Man Ray, where he cuts half his beard off, and so I only had half a beard left, and we found a picture of Dalí, which is like a reflection. So we only needed half a moustache. So I've just kept it on for you today, and I'm going to cut it off, I think. Okay. There you go. It's gone.
It's all gone.
That was it.
How does that feel?
Barren. Right.